So guys, today video I'm gonna do about this Italian horse. That's a Maserati Ghibli 2017 with 55,000 miles on it only. And the reason why I'm doing this video, it's actually crazy. It drives me crazy because right now the Maserati, they still selling those Ghiblis 2023, and there is a lot of them available right now in the United States. So brand new. And you can choose between cheapest one for about 105,000 and the most expensive I think they have for 170,000. They did change tail lights and headlights. The seats itself, the design of the front seats a little bit different. The steering wheel, dashboard, the shape and form, it's all the same. The brakes, engine the same. And it's crazy. I mean, 150,000, even 110,000, 108,000. The cheapest one, Ghibli, you can buy Q4, and this one, it's a S Q4. All right, let's go on the design. I like the way it looks, and Quattroporte or Ghibli looks really good. It just Pininfarina design that's never gonna get old. I do not understand those. It's like a super expensive yacht boat or something. What's good about this car, it's kind of powerful engine. So we got V6 turbo engine, 404 horsepower. It's super fast. I mean, for this car, we got the Brembo brakes. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pistons on the front, brake caliper on the back. We got 2 piston, like 4 pistons caliper. On the top of that, we have one more extra for the e-brake. That's good. I like the sound of exhaust system. That's really loud and it really feels like something different. The quality of the car itself, the chrome pieces, that's what I like. And I think even the Mercedes kind of missing that. So 2017, it's not popping up, it's not falling apart yet. So it's really good. The tail lights staying the same. I never saw actually Maserati with bad paint job or faded clear. That's what's making the Italian car Italian. The chrome pieces and the moldings, they are in a great shape. Even though there is a small rubbers, they still staying strong, I would say so. And there is no frames on the doors. And you know what? It's not windy. I mean, when you're driving it, it's a double glass. It's actually good soundproofing for this car. And look at the rubbers. They still in a great shape. It's not leaking water inside and it's not making noise when I'm driving it. So the back doors, the back windows, is just a single window. I don't know, maybe it's not that heavy. Look at the condition, 55,000 miles. This car looks so good inside. Even though that design of the seats and the leather itself, it feels like from 80s. Honestly, feels like 80s, but the car smell inside, it's not so fresh, but it's not that bad. So the headliner, it's not Alcantara, but it's kind of feeling and looks like Alcantara, but it's actually not. So it's kind of different type of material, and the color is different. It's not much, and it looks like it's normal. So there is a gray, there is a black, but actually this one is black and this one is not black, it's a grayish too, but this one a light gray. All right, looks like that's fine with Maserati. And again, why they put this kind of switch on the back, right? It still looks like Dodge Chrysler, but the master switch itself, it's like really cheap Chrysler stuff. They should do something like that, something much better. The back seat, it's so tiny, it's hard to fit myself behind myself. If I was sitting on the front, now I'm on the back. It's super tiny here and I'm not feeling comfortable, but I am feeling comfortable when I'm driving this car. Actually, it drives really good. So I think one of the most hated parts on this Maserati, and why everybody hate it, that's the engine. Why? Because the used engine right now for this car goes between 5 and 10,000. That's a used engine, and it's probably hard to work on this car because it's Italian. Not so many shops want to do that, even though there is some sensors. Looks like, again, it looks like it's a Chrysler sensor. It might be right, but same time it could be wrong. So 7,000 for this engine. So you basically buying the used car, you taking a chance if this engine is gonna stay in good shape for next, I don't know, 40-50,000. You're not gonna get problems with that. And but same time, you can buy the used car, and you can buy the warranty for 3 years or 2 years, doesn't matter. And in case something gonna happen, you can claim it, and warranty gonna pay for that. So 7,000 for the used engine, when the whole car you can buy for 22,000 in great shape with low mileage. Kinda expensive, I would say. So the coils are different. It doesn't look like Dodge or Chrysler or even the Mercedes. Intake is different. I like the valve covers. It's aluminum valve covers, old styles, like looks like Ferrari, you know, from 90s. What do we got there? There is no leak, there is no noise. Engine feels really good itself right now. I think because the previous owner was constantly taking it to the dealer for different type of work, even the just regular maintenance and the oil change. This owner been taking it to the dealership to do so. So he basically spent a lot of money during his ownership, and it was worth it? Definitely not. So it used to be 100,000. Right now we're selling it for 22,000, actually not 25, and we traded in for about 20,000. So we're not really making a lot of money on this car. But same time, the previous owner, he got rid of this one. He got Mercedes, but he lost a lot of money during his ownership. So it's basically 7 years, and he lost about 70,000 on this car. Means he was losing 10,000 a year while he was driving it. Only 55,000 miles for the whole ownership. That's basically nothing. So guys, welcome to Maserati Ghibli. Yeah, push start button on the left side. Super convenient. 55,000 miles on it. Feels like Italian. I like the exhaust on this car. It is amazing sound, that's for sure. Climate control. So it's 2017 and the car is in a great shape. What you can notice from the beginning, that's the master switch. I was always making jokes about this master switch. It's the same as in a Grand Caravan or Chrysler Town and Country. Same as this switch and the push start button. So actually Dodges and Chryslers, they using exactly the same buttons as the Maserati. So welcome Maserati luxury, a luxury car for only 25,000. 2017, 55,000 miles, not bad at all. So what's the difference between the brand new one and the used one? I would go with the used one if I really want to get one for myself to drive it, even though it's 2017, 55,000 miles on it. It still has a same beautiful shape, kinda, for 25k. Exhaust system, it's loud and nice. It has that muscle sound from it, that's for sure. And my experience with Ghibli started back in 2016 when a friend of mine bought one black on red seats, and it was crazy. I mean, the price of that car, it was not so many in Los Angeles, and basically nobody knew this car gonna be a nightmare sooner or later. So when I got that car from him, I drove it to Vegas for several days, And what really pissed me off that time, the AC stopped working. So it was September, it was 120, I think so, 115 outside in Las Vegas, and it was super hot. So I was not driving the car while I was in Vegas, and on the way back I was keep buying that Freon and trying to put in to make the AC run, and it was running for a while. And next day I took it to the shop. I was thinking, maybe it's my mistake, or it's my fault. Maybe there is some rock went all the way to the radiators and damaged it, and the Freon got out, and I have to pay for that. But actually no, it was a crazy part. So piece of the sandpaper got in right between the condenser and the front bumper. So while everybody was driving it, it was just keep scratching it and made a hole. So the whole Freon system got empty and the AC stopped working. I don't know how that sandpaper came to that place. I was asking him, he said, no, this car never been in the shop, so it's probably a mistake, but it was not a mistake for sure. That was my experience with Ghibli, and since then I might bought it once. Because honestly for me it was a junky car. It's still junky car, but we got this one as a trade-in, and the car was in a great shape. It's still in great shape. 55,000 miles. There's one owner and he drives amazing. But same time, one of my friends, he moved as a GM from the Kia store to Maserati Alfa Romeo store, and right now he was telling me, there is a still new Maserati you can buy for 120,000 and they're still available right now. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, look, check the website. I checked the Maserati.com. There is a lot of those cars available around you right now. And I'm like, no way. So I decided to make a video on this car because it's just insane. How come they still selling that car for 150, 140,000 and the people still buying it? It's not like nobody buying it. They are buying it. But same time he told me, if you're gonna sell about 15 new Maseratis a month, not only Ghibli, the whole Maseratis, if you're gonna sell 15 new Maseratis a month, you're gonna become #1 Maserati store in the United States. What? That's insane. That's how popular the Maserati brand in the United States right now. Let's go on this 2017 Ghibli. Even though this car has a lot of different parts from Daimler Chrysler, it's still Italian. The rack pinion, maybe a little bit something knocking, but again guys, 20,000, 25,000, that's how much you can buy 2017. 14 has 2 buttons on the left and right of the screen, but other than that, it's hard to say what kind of year you drive in 2023. That's what I discovered right now, or 2014. This shifter is just something else. I mean, the Levanta I used to have, and this car, it's like so hard to get to the parking right away. Even though it's still a great car. It feels good, it drives great, the sound system, I mean, not bad at all, but the exhaust system on this car, it's really good actually. The turbo works perfectly fine. So it's a V6, there is one more V8 engine available, and again, I'm not sure who's buying those V8s. I think V6 turbo, that's more than enough for this 4-door sedan. Don't you think so? So to be honest, I think if you want to buy the Maserati, you don't want to spend more than this to buy the nice, clean looking car Maserati. Drives good, and you're gonna get a lot of enjoyment, I would say so, from driving the Maserati Ghibli. And the common issue with that engine, that's what all the people complain about. Oh, I get so many problems, I had so many issues. Usually it comes from the mechanic shop. So when you get in the problem, when you get in check engine light, you cannot afford it to go to the dealer to pay a lot of money, because honestly, the new car store, new car dealer, they charging a lot of money for the service. You have to understand that service they have a lot of people working there. It's not only 2, 3, mechanics. There is a huge department, and there is more than 20 people working there. So they have to feed them all. They have to sell you parts for the double price. They have to charge you for the oil change, not $50, $60, $70. They have to charge you $150 or maybe $200, and they're gonna say, that's Italian car. There's a special filter. Yes, it is a special filter, but there is a lot of other ways how you can buy the parts cheaper. And if you have a good mechanic shop who's gonna take care of your car, why not to buy it? Why you want to buy something boring like the Toyota Camry or I don't know, Honda Civic? Again, I understand when you're using your car as a daily commuter, you have to drive a lot, and you don't have to think about check engine light or something gonna happen. Maserati not gonna give you that feeling. You can drive it from here all the way to New York without getting any issue. You might gonna get some issue, but same time, if you can, work it out with your shop, with your mechanic, if you're working out about the parts, how you can get filters, how you can get the brake pads, the tires, it's not an issue. The engine, again, if you keeping this car, maintain it well, you're doing all the services on time, you're not kind of skipping, you paying attention on your lights, check engine light, you're paying attention on the oil level, making sure the oil is clean and good all the time, the filters are good, so the engine sucking fresh air, and you're using the good fuel. You're not trying to use the cheap 87. Even though if you're using cheap fuel, what do you have to do? You have to take care of the spark plug. Just replace it every, 10,000 miles. You're gonna see the difference on your MPG. You're gonna see the improvement of your car, the way it drives. Looks like simple, but again, so many people thinking when they're gonna buy, especially the used car, they don't have to spend money on that. They're just gonna keep driving it, maybe pay for the insurance, pay for the loan if they get a loan on this car, and that's it. And when they're not doing the oil change on 10, 15,000 miles, some noise gonna come from the engine. They're gonna blame the car. They're gonna say, oh, this damn car, it's so bad, why I bought it, blah, blah, blah. I heard those stories too. But what are you getting? You're getting nice, good quality Italian car. This leather looks like, I don't know, like elephant leather. I don't know when it's gonna go bad, because it feels like never gonna go bad. You might need to do some shampoo, and that might need to use some chemicals, but in general, I mean, it's a great car. For sure, if I'm gonna buy the junky one with high mileage for super cheap price at the auction and pay like, I don't know, non-runner 5,000, 7,000, right? Those cars exist, believe me or not. Non-runner Maserati Ghibli, I mean, if I'll check all over US, for sure I'm gonna find like 10, 15 non-runners. So if I'll try to buy the cheapest Maserati available right now on the market, or maybe not on the market, maybe somewhere at the auction, the cheapest one I can find for 5,000, 7,000 with bad engine, bad transmission, or just like non-runner, repossessed, right? And I'm gonna find out my engine is bad. I have to pay 7,000 for the engine. I have to pay mechanic shop 1,500 to install it. So it's gonna be like 15. And again, when the engine is bad, means everything and on that car is gonna be bad. Your tires, your brakes, and something else. By replacing the engine, I'm not gonna eliminate the whole problem of that car. So if you are the dealer, or you're trying to buy the car, not only Maserati, but something super expensive for cheap, and you're thinking, this time I'm gonna make it. So this time I'm gonna buy it cheap, I'm gonna fix it fast and cheap also, and I'm gonna get beautiful, amazing car. No, it's not. So when the people not taking care of the car, it's not only engine, it's the whole car completely. Tires, brakes, interior, AC system, like the bumper's gonna crack, this and that is gonna stick out. Maybe the headlights are gonna be bad or cracked also from the previous accident, the one they didn't fix after, or they didn't replace it. So what are you gonna get? You're gonna get cheap car with good engine, but the rest is gonna be bad. So I think those cars are better to buy for parts. When you're taking those cars apart, that's it, no problem. 22,000 for this Maserati. I don't think that's a lot of money. I think it's just a super right price for the great Italian car. Even though those cars in the United States, most of them, it's been abused and been not taken care of. That's just a reality. That's just a reality. Most of the consumers, they don't want to spend money to keep this car in great shape. The best part for me right now while I'm driving this Maserati, number one, that's a kind of sportish suspension. So the settings of the suspension, it's really good. Number two, that's exhaust system. Exhaust system makes it loud when I need it. And actually on the sport mode, it opens up a little bit more louder sound than the original one. So, and the crazy part, not only about new car stores, they still selling these cars for 120, 140, 150,000. New one, you can still lease it or you can just buy it if you want to. The crazy part, right behind our dealership, we have a kind of storage parking lot for Maserati and Alfa Romeo. And you know what those cars doing here? They just sitting because they are lemon laws, and there is so many of those cars right now. So right behind our dealership there is a parking lot, and there is a lot of Alfa Romeo and Maserati sitting, and most of them, I wouldn't say all of them, but most of them, they sitting for a long period of time because there is some problems they cannot fix or some parts they cannot get, and so probably all of them gonna be lemon law, with lemon law title for sale sooner or later. It's still open. I'm not gonna go in, but look how crazy is that. So Italy is still producing those cars for sale for United States, but they just not so popular. And all those Silvio or Giulia, you can buy it for 15,000. That's kind of sad, I would say so, for the whole car industry. And it's sad because I think Alfa Romeo or Maserati sooner or later not gonna be existed on the US market, because it just doesn't make sense. How come it would make sense to produce this car to try to sell it for 120, 140,000, and later on they're gonna keep losing money because the car keep losing value and they just cannot sell it. I mean, they just cannot. So I think because the Dodge and the Chrysler, they kind of helping Maserati and Alfa Romeo staying on the market and trying their best to keep them up. They just cannot. Sooner or later these cars not going to be exist, and all the new cars right now, it's not going to be the same. Believe me or not, V6, V8, especially twin turbo engines on the Maserati, it's just going to be super expensive to produce and super doesn't make sense to make it and sell it, especially with California new regulations where they are required 4-cylinder or hybrids or EV. Like right now there is more of the cars coming plug-in hybrids. This Maserati, it's gonna just go up in the value if you're still gonna have it with low mileage in a great shape. So guys, if you want to buy one before it's too late.